So if you're comparing Pixel 3 versus Pixel 4, you have a right to do so. In this video, I'll be telling you guys about my experiences with both. Stay tuned. Design. So when you put the Pixel 3 in your hand, it feels like a premium device. When you hold the sides, they are glass based and you can grip it really well in your hand. It's also actually a little bit wider than the Pixel 4, which I haven't heard other people mention. Meanwhile, with the Pixel 4, when you put it in your hand, the sides feel very plasticky, so I feel like there's a little bit less grip, which easily can be fixed if you put a case on the phone that you actually like. Button placement is pretty much the same except for the bottom grill. You can see that the Pixel 4 has two bottom slots for where the actual speakers fire. Meanwhile, the Pixel 3 has front-facing speakers, which I think are maybe a little bit better since they're actually facing you when you're looking at the phone comparing to the Pixel 4. Although, when you compare the sound quality, I think the sound quality out of the Pixel 4 is slightly better. But listen here and you guys let me know what you think. I've been having dreams, jumping on a trampoline. I've been having dreams, jumping on a trampoline. Display. So when comparing the 3 and 4, it's very obvious that the 4 is a better screen, especially with a 90 Hz display. Things are really smooth, and overall, I feel like the quality of the screen, just like they mentioned at the event, is superior to the Pixel 3. But that also bleeds into having to compare to battery life, and that's where it does take a toll, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So screen, hands down, Pixel 4. Performance. So when comparing the 3 and 4, it's obvious Pixel 4 definitely has better performance, no doubt, comparing last year's Pixel 3 with 4 GB of RAM, and then the new Pixel 4 has 6 GB of RAM. I totally wish I would have seen 8 GB of RAM since they do say this is a premium flagship, but hopefully the software experience of Google software development team does a really good job at optimizing it fully so that there are no lags like last year's Pixel 3. Cameras. So as we already know, Pixel 3 had a great camera, and Pixel 4 does take it up a notch, but I would definitely say it doesn't take it up a next level. I wish Pixel 4 had 60 frames per second 4K video. It doesn't. Those things are seen in other premium flagship Android phones in 2019, but I kind of wish I saw that in the camera department for the Pixel. Then comparing front-facing cameras of the Pixel 3 versus Pixel 4, Pixel 3 has a wider field of view for the front-facing camera, which they took away from the Pixel 4 for some reason, but it's not that much wider on the Pixel 3, so you're not going to be missing that much more, but it is something to consider. Both do have night sight, which is great, but Pixel 4's night sight camera is slightly better, but again, it's not that much better. So if that's something that you guys are thinking about, that Pixel 4 might have a much better night sight camera, that's not the case. And also the other thing to think about is the actual user interface of the camera module in the Pixel 4. They have changed this so you do have a little bit more flexibility in how you want to take your shot, which is something I feel like they could have incorporated as a software update in the Pixel 3, which they have not as of now, and I don't think they actually will, because they want that premium feature to be set on their flagship device at the moment, which is the Pixel 4. So certainly not the biggest improvement in the camera department, but it's something I hope they actually do fix and hope to improve on next year. Battery life. So I've had my Pixel 3 since it first came out. I've been using it fairly regularly, so it's been through quite a bit of charging cycles. And you compare that to the Pixel 4, you have your 90 Hz display, battery should be, about the same, but that's where I want to actually do a test. I took both of the phones and made it so that Wi-Fi was on both and location was on both. Neither of them had a SIM card in. All the applications were closed, and I left the phones to stay, without really touching them for about 2 to 3 days. And what I came to see after 2 to 3 days, each of them had a screen on time of about 20 minutes, but one of the phones had a battery life of about 60% left. Meanwhile, the other one had a battery life of about 30% left. If you could guess, what would you think? Which one would be which? Obviously, my guess would be no question. The 30% is probably the Pixel 3. The battery has degraded, over the time. Pixel 4 is a brand new phone. You should definitely expect it to have that 60%, especially since the screen hasn't been used very much. 90 Hertz has not been used very much. So that's what I would expect. But that's not what happened. The Pixel 3 was at 60%. The Pixel 4 was at 30, or about 30. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. Both had notifications come in, which were the same notifications. They're signed into the same profile, same applications, but such a massive difference in the battery life was shocking to me because it's just standby battery. The phone hasn't really been touched for about 2 to 3 days. That really shouldn't happen. So there's something in the Pixel 4's battery life that is a little concerning at the moment, which I do hope is fixed over time, because for a premium flagship device, although it has 90 Hertz, which does kill the actual battery to a certain extent, I didn't expect it to be hurting that much. With my daily usage, I did find that the Pixel 4 did eat up the battery a little bit more than the Pixel 3, but it wasn't all that much. But leaving it just on standby mode, not really touching it for 2 to 3 days, and that to happen, that to me was a little weird. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that, but that's something that I think you guys should know and be aware about. Hopefully Google has some kind of updates in the future to hopefully fix that, because you totally should, we should expect that the Pixel 4 should have overall a better battery life than the Pixel 3. User experience. So between the 3 and the 4, the 4 definitely surprised me at first. With the 90 Hertz display, stock Android, it was just flying. It was really buttery smooth comparing to the Pixel 3. It almost felt iPhone-like, although I know the iPhone does not have a 90 Hertz display, but there was something about the user interface that just felt so fluid. As we all know, iPhones are extremely fluid just because of processing power and just the way the iOS is actually made. But that kind of was brought over finally to stock Android, which made it feel even better than the Pixel 3 stock Android experience. The Google Assistant definitely was faster on the Pixel 4 than the Pixel 3, as long as you did have it downloaded. There's some software features where you have to have downloaded into the Pixel 4. But once you did that, definitely Google Assistant was better, faster on the Pixel 4 than the Pixel 3. So the big question, Pixel 3 or Pixel 4? Well, right now, if I had to choose based on value, price point, performance, camera, I would actually be leaning more so towards the Pixel 3. In my personal opinion, in the hand, it feels a little bit more premium. The camera on the Pixel 3 is not that far off from the Pixel 4. Yes, the Pixel 4 definitely has the performance gains that are better than Pixel 3, no question. But because of price point and value, right now, Pixel 3 is definitely more of a value-based phone that I'll be leaning towards over the Pixel 4 at the moment, unfortunately. I do hope that Google does, decrease the prices so it's a little bit more affordable. I do think they did slightly overprice it this year based on other phones on the market, but that's my personal preference right now, leaning towards Pixel 3. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. If you got some value out of this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.